Take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking baseball with Greg Peterson. As you can see behind me, we have this beautiful painting, and we're going to talk to this gentleman who's sitting right next to me, Mr. Greg Peterson, about that. But first, back in 1993, it was a new era of baseball here in Jamestown, professional baseball, as Buffalo Bisons introduced the Jamestown Jammers and a new history therein. We looked in the past for people to take a look back at what had happened to Jamestown baseball over the years, and this man fell right into our hands, Mr. Greg Peterson, who is not only a well-noted attorney here in the Jamestown, Chautauqua area, but also sort of a baseball historian. Welcome to the show, Greg.
Mike, thanks a million.
Maybe you can explain a little bit about this painting. I mean, there has been over 50 years of history of baseball in Jamestown, and this beautiful painting seems to cover a lot of that.
Yeah, Susan Wolf, who is a renowned equestrian painter, stopped in the office one day and was talking about her capabilities, and I asked her if she'd ever done baseball, and she suggested that she had not and would like to do so. So the timing was coincided with the Bisons and the Jammers' interest in celebrating 50 years of professional baseball. So I prevailed upon Susan to do this wonderful oil painting, and it's what you see right here now. And it sort of captures some of the personalities and some of the action that's occurred down at Municipal Stadium, now known as College Stadium. And maybe for your viewing audience, just to describe who they are. Jamestown's had a rich history. And just starting off here, this is Nellie Fox, who of course played here in 1944 and then went on to an extraordinary career in the major leagues. Above him is Andres Galarraga, who played first base in Jamestown and currently is with the Colorado Rockies and had some major league careers or numbers. In the middle here is a well-known manager and player back in the early 40s named Greg Mulea, whose son is the movie actor. Next to Mulea, of course, is Marquis Grissom, who just is wearing a World Series ring as of
That's right,
speak
almost
here.
single-handedly won the last game.
Terrifically, and perhaps the most renowned ball player to play in Jamestown, and to also not only play here but to stay here, and in fact was my manager when I was in Babe Ruth, is Johnny Newman, sort of our mythical Babe Ruth. So this sort of, this painting captures an awful lot, and I commend Susan Wolf for doing a spectacular job, and she captured College Stadium right in the center of this. So hopefully the folks at the stadium will see more of this in the form of a book that is in the process of being written.
We were just going to mention that. And not only does the painting cover such a rich history, but part of the reason why the Rich family sought out Jamestown is because of its rich tradition in baseball. And now you've been working on a project, maybe you can fill us in on the details just a little bit, for almost the better part of a year. And you've got a young man producing a book that hopefully will be out maybe by the time that professional baseball hits Jamestown once again in June, but before the end of the summer. Maybe you can tell us a bit about that.
Sure. A couple years ago, a gentleman by the name of David Mulea, he was a senior at Wesleyan College in Connecticut. He decided that he would do a senior thesis on professional baseball, and specifically the Jamestown Expos at the time. And so he spent a summer here at his own cost and sort of rode around in the back of the bus, gathered a lot of data, and got into some historical anecdotes at the time. I saw his final product. It was wonderful. It basically dealt with the I believe it was 91 or 92 Expo season. Well, when this opportunity presented itself, because of the encouragement of Mike Bellani and the Rich family, I went back to David to see if he might be interested in writing a book on the history of professional baseball in Jamestown. He jumped at it, and through an awful lot of hard work of folks, we provided David with a lot of background, a lot of newspaper articles. We've got movies, we've got some videos, we've got some pictures, old scorecards, and it came from a variety of sources. Of course, nothing starts without using the good graces of Russ Dietrich. Exactly. And Russ was a fount of knowledge. We've interviewed him, as we have an awful lot of former baseball players. To put in a little bit of a plug, every other Wednesday there is a Hot Stove League luncheon, of which some of the ball players who played for the Jamestown Falcons or the Jamestown Tigers come back, and they spend a luncheon time period to reminisce a little bit about their career in Jamestown. And we've been putting those on audio tape and videotapes, and maybe at some time in the future we'll have an opportunity to share some of their highlights. They're absolutely special.
Now that's held every other Wednesday, you said?
Every
the
other
first
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Well, it's every other Wednesday, and it's normally it's in the paper and in the media as to who the speaker would be.
And that's tremendous. I mean, we get together for lunch, and it's just a great time to be able to hear gentlemen come out and do that. You mentioned to me one of the highlights in the book, too, and something that if you're from Jamestown, you may already know this. If you're not from the Jamestown area, one of the last totally black baseball teams in history was centered right around the Jamestown area.
In 1898, the last black baseball team in organized baseball, which really means that this was a black team that played white teams, and it was in a league recognized by Major League Baseball as a minor league team, was in Celeron, New York. And one of the foremost books on black baseball history was written by Robert Peterson, called Only the Ball Was White. And he was the first to really uncover that. Well, subsequently, curiosity getting the best of me, I spent some time at the James Prendergast Library, which is a wonderful source of information, to find out a little bit more about this Celeron Acme Black Giants. And we've been able to kind of put this whole season together. It was really part of the Celeron Amusement Park. They played professional baseball at Celeron. The team was occasionally known as the Celeron Chocolates, which would not be used now, but at the time was used, and it was printed in the paper. And the team did not fare well. But the long and the short of it, Jamestown area, through the Celeron Acme Black Giants, is a footnote in baseball history, because there was not black player playing an organized ball until Jackie Robinson. So the bookend is Jackie Robinson on one end and Celeron Acme Black Giants on the other end.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. So many professional baseball players have passed through here, and what we mean by professional baseball players are guys who have made a career out of playing baseball either at this level or moved down to Major League Baseball. How much of this book is going to highlight some of those people? Well,
our hope is, specifically, was the Jamestown Professional Baseball, which we initially started in 1939. 1939 was the first year of the New York Penn League, and its first year was up in Celeron. So we started that as the beginning point. Well, the more we got into the history, we found that, in fact, Jamestown had a professional team in 1914 and 1915, and then we went back to that 1898 Celeron Acme Black Giants. Then we further found in digging out that the first professional baseball team was in 1890 that played in Jamestown at a place called Marvin Park, which was down near the boat landing. And ironically, that team had a black player as first baseman, and that person, Kelly, has been written up, Richard Kelly, has been written up by a lot of sports articles because he was one of only a handful of folks who played organized baseball anywhere prior to Jackie Robinson. So here in the Jamestown area, you know, it's unique in that it tolerated black baseball. So what started off as running from 1939 through 1990 currently, took ourselves back a little bit further. We also had some fun, Mike, noting that there were some exhibition games played in this area, and that was a very big part of it with barnstorming. And in particular, guys like Cy Young, Honus Wagner, and Babe Ruth. There was an awful lot of stories running around that Babe Ruth, you know, came to Jamestown. Well, we did some research, and in fact, found that there was a lot of information on Babe Ruth coming into Celeron in October 18th, 1921.
Well, there's a lot of information. We're really looking forward to the release of the book. Hopefully it'll coincide with the start of the baseball season. But whenever it comes back, Greg, we want you to come back and fill us in. And we certainly thank you for everything that you do for baseball in the community, and for myself, for the Jammers as well. Greg Peterson's been our guest.